thing to get to do in a cold afternoon is come see live theater. So thank you all so much. I know I've got some first timers here, and I've got my old steady folks, and so you're in for a great show. I'm Cheryl Van Stockum, and I get to hang out here and work here. It's wonderful. I want to acknowledge a couple people. First of all, sitting over here is the writer of the show and the director of the show, Dr. Jack Warner. By Reggie Van Stockum. You'll see him come strolling out here in a little while, and you can recognize him. We cannot do this without the sponsors of our show, and that's the city of Shelbyville. Where'd y'all end up, Candace? There she is, right in front of me, though. So Candace herself is here with her guest, and she's an employee of the city of Shelbyville. I always say how fortunate we are on so many levels here, but to have the city, to have the city say, yes, we will support the arts here, and we're very, very pleased with that. The co-sponsor is somebody very important to me, and that is my father-in-law, Brigadier General Ron Van Stockum. He is 105. He has an amazing history in this theater, and last week he said, I wish I could come and make a few remarks. And I said, well, Dad, I don't think that's going to work out, but what would you like for me to tell you? He said, just tell people how proud I am of the theater, and I've been so fortunate to be involved. So he sends his greetings, and how special that Reggie is in us as well. So we appreciate all the people. As you take your time to look through the programs, you see all the names of people that do sponsor and that help us to do what we do here. All right, a couple little housekeeping things. You all came in here, and that's good. We also have another exit over here if for any reason we would need to get out emergently or during the show. That takes you out to that little courtyard that's right there on 8th Street, so you can get out there easily. We'll have an intermission, and the house lights will come up, the cast will clear the stage, and you'll know that. At that time, you're welcome to enjoy some complimentary refreshments. We have some water and cookies, and what we've been doing is asking people to go upstairs. We used to do this out here in our lobby, but we've got a nice area set up. That way you can spread out, you can take your mask off. There's some places you can stand around and be able to visit with your friends at that point. As I said, these are complimentary, but you'd be surprised what we can do with cookies and water around here. So we just ask a little donation. Coins, 1s, 5s, 20s, whatever. You just enjoy that. If you don't feel like you can climb the steps, just for the night, we will have a table set up out here. So you can visit the restroom, you can step outside. Why would you want to do that? It's freezing, but if you need to, go on and do that. The other thing I'll ask you to do is turn your cell phones all the way off, please. We do have some interference that can happen. And this is a wonderful show. You're going to have so much fun. You're going to want to take pictures of all your friends and family, but don't, okay? No photography during this show. It's very disconcerting to people, and so just don't do that. What else? Oh, afterwards. Our tradition here is that we visit with the cast on the stage, and we're just keeping them safe. What we are doing is the cast will get their coats and they'll run and stand outside. So if you've got friends here and family that are in the show, you can just go out there and see them and take selfies with them and everything, and just visit them at the time. So go to our website. You can access that through the QR code that's in your program. You can do that another time, and just we've got too much going on right now for me to mention, just because you've got family you want to see the show. So just see all of our upcoming events and classes and so forth. And thank you again for spending your afternoon. Congratulations, Jack. Congratulations, Reggie. I love you. Break a leg. Thank you.
We can't do this without you, Maynard. Listen.
On the radio, here on the radio, just heard the sound of Spud there while we do our show. Here on the radio, young and funky, cool sounds hard from sing the world that we love so. Singing love songs true, sung by our gals too. Often late at night alone, never knowing I love you.
I love that gal, I didn't mean her wrong, but sure was pretty. I asked her, did she love me true? She said, your dad burnt right, I do.
It was another ride, we were so young and wild. Living life like music
Mattered more cause songs were better.
Mattered more because we sang them.
Let's do it again! Whoa! Go on, this feels good. Folks, it's that time again. The time when I ask you, are there any Hoosiers in this here hall? How about Ohio? Any Buckeyes out there? And here we go now. Who's from the great Commonwealth of Kentucky? I tell you, looking back, what we managed to do on this little old Kentucky stage was this poor picker's dream. The best kept secret in the ever-loving gateway to the South.
On the radio, we're on the radio. The sound of Santa still there while we do our
I swear I don't know how, but it is. And this is your old pal, Spud Loomis, talking to you. I want to thank you. Thank you all. Hey, how about the band and all of the Jubilee Barndance? We're coming at you from your favorite spot on the radio dial. All 250 watts of it. We're brought to you tonight and every Saturday evening by Tasty Glazed Donuts.
Woo! Old Augustus sure loved them donuts. Get them on the high.
Wait a minute now. Who do we have here?
Well, isn't this ever amazing? I knew you guys were going to show up sooner or later. I could feel Well, I knew something big was gonna happen, and sure enough, here you all are.
But what's gonna happen? Hey, how did all of us get back here? And who the heck are you? Did you make all this hoodoo happen?
Oh, it's no hoodoo, Mr. Loomis. My name's Henry Jenkins. I work here.
Oh, I still think it's hoodoo.
My granddaddy, I bet you remember him. Used to work here and well, this same job, cleaning up, watching after the buildings. But he did lots more than that. He took tickets sometimes, ran the follow spot, even counted money when you'd let him. I swear, he sure did admire you, Mr. Loomis.
I remember that.
You and them Jubilee days is just about all he ever used to talk about. He always said how he wished I could have seen it for real. In its heyday, I've been wishing really hard, and so...
Hoodoo, told you.
Granddad said you used to call him pork chop. Yeah.
Hey, boys and girls, this is your kid's grandpa's old pork chop. Is your granddad still with us, Henry?
No, sir. He passed about 11 years ago. But he told me all about you. I practically grew up on stories in this place. Yeah, I guess I know just about all there is to know about all of you. He always swore you folks in the show here were his whole life. Just like you said in that song, a poor picker's dream. He bragged he worked here on and off nearly 10 years.
That'd be just about right.
Yeah.
Well, young fella, I still can't figure how, but I sure am glad you and we showed up. Anyway, you should be mighty proud of that granddad of yours.
Yes, sir.
He was one of the finest men I ever met. He kept me and the rest of these yahoos in line. Most of the time, he sure did. But can you tell me?
There's a picture of you two together back there. It's in my locker. Let me go get it.
I don't think you can. I don't know who that is, but I'm so glad you're here.
Maggie, she can't see us.
Darn, I wonder how she got in here. Don't worry, she can't see you. She's from outside. I don't know why it is, but I don't think they can see or hear you guys like I can. Don't ask me how I can. I don't know. Anyway, I don't think she belongs in here. She'll be able to see me, so well, let me go find out what she wants. I'm kind of shy.
Come on, boys.
I'm sorry, I didn't know anyone was in here. I hope it's okay for me to take some pictures or even be in here at all. The front door was open. Well, not really. Maybe I helped it a little bit.
No, it's fine, I guess. It's a great old place, isn't it? Got a special feel about it, huh?
It sure has.
Yeah.
Lots of character.
Yeah.
But it's so small, I bet it doesn't even seat 150 people. Hello out there!
153 if we use the folding chairs for pictures.
Do you work here? What's your name?
Oh, I'm Henry Jenkins. I just do this part-time. I'm really a student over at the college in Campbellsville. I want to switch to U of L or Moorhead or somewhere bigger when I can manage it. Be a music teacher someday. Teach about gospel, blues, honky-tonk, western swing, rockabilly. Well, pretty much anything you can think of. That's why I love this old place. Part of why I took this job makes me feel close to the music. Okay, I told you mine. What's your name?
I'm Ellie. Ellie Stanton. I'm kind of into music too, in a way. I'm a grad student of sociology at UK, but I'm originally from Nashville, so I grew up with my grandparents, and then my parents go on and on about the Grand Ole Opry, Ryman Auditorium, and I guess I just sort of fell into studying about it, the social, cultural stuff. But I'm like you. When you get right down to it, it's really the music that I love.
Did she say Nashville? Ryman? Grand Ole Opry? Shoot, honey, all that was just the Tennessee branch of our Jubilee Barndance show.
We didn't start saying that until someone over there heard about our dinky little show. Started calling us the Kentucky Fried Opry.
What the heck? You said you can't hear us anyway. It was a hill of a ride. We were so wild. Told you so. Shoot. Maybe we was small, but we was mighty.
My parents tried to turn me into a country music snob, and I guess I still get a little snooty when it comes to what country music really should be, but that's why I'm here. It's going to be my thesis. These last couple of months, I've been checking out a handful of colorful, out-of-the-way spots all over Tennessee and now Kentucky.
We're colorful.
Oh, be quiet, Wally. Let the girl talk.
I just want to be sure that I've covered all my bases. Now, one of my teachers told me about the town of Jubilee and the weekly barn dance they did here.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure I'm going to find much.
Well, you may just get some surprises, because, well, you sure picked the perfect spot to come. Mr. Loomis and the people right around here kept this show on the stage and on the air for more than 10 years on pretty much nothing but plain old gumption.
It was like a miracle what we were able to do with next to nothing backing us. Using mostly locals, Spud gave a leg up to just about anybody who came around. Well, mostly just a whole bunch of hopefuls and wannabes like me.
This was a sort of jumping off place. Got more than a few folks started.
And all the performers were from right around here?
Sure were. Now, you've heard of Hank Williams, right?
Whoa! Hank Williams? Oh, I sure have. But I thought we started him out in Nashville over on WSN. Are you saying he sang here?
Oh, no. He never did his act here. Well, he didn't step foot on this stage as far as I know. No, the people who worked here were never really stars like that. But they knew their country music and were just plain good.
And most of us were lucky if we got gas money for coming on.
They just didn't dream about a whole lot more than making good music for friends and relatives right around here. Totally for the love of it. Now, I bet you never even heard of Gus Jackson.
No.
Well, other than some covers by other guys, no one else has either. He was a sort of minor league Hank Williams, but he was close to being just as darn good. Yeah, Gus had this easygoing, earthy style. A lot like Hank.
You could put away his liquor a lot like him, too.
Oh, we don't talk about that much, though.
Did he ever go anywhere? Outside of here, I mean.
Did he ever head for Nashville or Memphis or someplace like that? No. But word got out and that stirred up enough excitement about him that he'd get pretty decent offers. Fairly often, too. Mr. Loomis. Spud Loomis. He was the head man here from the get-go. He used to say that if Gus could have put down that bottle, he would have been as big as any of those other old boys.
Damn, that boy could sing. He just couldn't keep his life together. He did some pretty good stuff that brought people from Memphis and even Nashville and the Opry out here. And, but he just always said he couldn't cotton to the big cities and ended up just sitting tight, hanging around here.
Probably too long.
You ain't wrong. I remember when I first decided to take a chance on him. Came over here, from a small little town not half the size of Jubilee. And his wife and kid with him. Showed up in an old beat-up Chrysler looking like rejects from the Grapes of Wrath. The wife, she always said she wanted to be a singer too. The truth to tell, that gal had a voice that sounded like a chainsaw on a 10-penny nail.
That's the gospel truth.
Anyway, she had to spend all of her time making sure that Gus stayed sober enough to get to the show on time. Never really did anything for herself. But Gus always showed, without fail. Drunk or sober, he always came through.
I can tell you for absolute certain about what a following he had. I know, because my grandpa was in the audience most every night, right up there. The night Gus decided to sing on this stage for the first time, he decided to sing a song he wrote himself called Get Out of My Way, Cowboy. And those farm folks, well, they just fell in love with him from then on, especially the ladies. Look, that's what he looked like back then. He was a good-looking guy.
Now, cowboy, better watch your step if she's looking good to you. Just get out of my way.
Get out of my way.
Way out of my way.
Way out of his way.
Ain't nothing you can do. Remember, friend, don't you court that gal. I got plans for her in mind. Just get out of my way.
Get out of my way.
Run out of my way.
Run out of his way.
'Cause you just been left behind.
I'm pretty sure I heard that song one time. Yeah, I do remember. I kind of liked it. Get out of my way. But I thought all those Hank Thompson, Hank Stowe were always singing about being heartbroken and crying about unfaithful women, like in Cold, Cold Heart and You're Cheating Heart.
She's right about that. Not only could this rascal sing about cheating women, but he made all the guys feel like he knew just what he was talking about, too.
You're right. That lonesome sound was all the rage of the lovesick country boys back then. They was always moaning about being lonely and feeling sad.
God defends in this old barn love those songs.
He had this one he called Lonesome Lost and Feeling Sad. Now I'd say that's just about as heartbroken as a Maynard get.
Gus somehow found some friends with a little extra money in his pocket to help him record it. And that probably did more for the Jubilee Barndance at WBWK than it did for Gus himself.
Up to then, nobody heard of the show outside 20 miles.
Later on, a few more people over in Lexington and Frankfort, even down in Louisville, did start noticing what we were doing. And a couple of bluegrass DJs started calling Gus the king of Kentucky hillbillies. Kind of like Hank was the king most everywhere else. Now, I was grateful. But that ain't to say that he couldn't be trouble. And it turned out for a while there, I may have been the only real friend he had.
Funny that little gal should mention Cold, Cold Heart a minute ago. But you know, everyone seems to forget. It wasn't Hank Williams, but...
A fella named Tony Bennett that ended up with the biggest hit recording of that.
Think about that. Hank Williams and Tony Bennett singing the same song. And here was our own Gus Jackson doing what those big stars were doing it just as well, some might say even better, right here on this stage.
I loved it. Woo! It was country on overdrive. That's why I wrote my first lonesome song the way I did. Seemed like on the radio, all you could hear was a bunch of lovesick cowpokes. So I just sort of figured I ought to join the club too. Woo!
Hey, look at this. Here it is. Fall of 1948, and the first time Gus ever sang Lonesome, Lost, and Feeling Sad on the air.
I always like to tell the hometown fans that Gus sang that song with a yodel and a song, alongside some other emotions that just hadn't been seen nor heard here before guys like him came along.
Wow. I always wondered what it would have been like to have been around to hear him sing that for the first time.
I remember I introduced it. kind of like this. The next portion of our show is brought to you by Granny's Best Syrup. Gus, old buddy, before you sing, tell the folks your true feelings about Kentucky's favorite sorghum. We loved our sponsors, but we always joked around about the commercials.
When I die, just bury me deep with a jar of Granny's Best step ahead and feet. Put a cold biscuit into my hands, and I'll sock my way to the promised land. Never got me in trouble about it though. Thought I might.
Well, I have to say, it was beautiful. A sopping cowboy. I got a picture of you and Grandma riding down the trail with a biscuit in each hand and a saddlebag full of sorghum. All right, friend. All right. Here's the Gus Jackson you all want to hear.
Let her rip. Since she went away, I swear I can't get her out of my head. Her lips, her eyes, her voice, her hair keep dancing round in my thoughts. Instead, I'm lonesome, lost, and feeling sad. Got nothing left to do but sit here drinking all night long, pressing me for losing you. But her lips ain't like no roses red, eyes no bluer than I've seen before, her voice no sweeter than some I've known, her hair like so many more. So why do I sing these lonely blues and sigh and moan all night? Just 'cause I love her more than life. Don't know how to set it right. I'm lonesome, lost, and feeling sad. Got nothing left to do but sit here drinking all night long, press me for losing you.
That boy got 7 encores. That song the very first night that he did it. 7 of them. This old barn went crazy. Nobody even came close before or after.
Never till young Rob Wesley, maybe. Gus Jackson was the by-God king of country, those who got to hear him. There just wasn't that many of them.
Mostly you'd see him sitting down there on his front porch writing. Sometimes going to town, do a little jackleg recording. But he mostly just let others take the credit for what he did. The world didn't know much of anything about him. But the folks in these parts who knew their music, and there were a lot of them, Gus Jackson was the real deal, and just about as good as it gets.
And don't forget, your favorite cowboy was also brought to you by the makers of Sal Hepatica. Remember that one?
Just our luck. We plan our costumes for the company party for months and months. And on the big day, I wake up feeling loggy, headachy. Even if I took a laxative, this old sinkish
Not if you take Sal Hepatica.
Why? Is Sal Hepatica any different?
I should say it is. Well, millions have found that it is not only a quick yet gentle laxative, but it also counteracts gastric acidity. Chases that sickish feeling fast. Just you wait and see. Trick here, honey. I bet you get the prize for Bluegrass Bell.
All the praise goes to you, darling, and your sparkling Sal Hepatica. It's certainly the secret of a fast comeback.
Get a bottle at your local druggist today.
Somewhere that there was a really good girl singer at that same time. I think it had to be on this show. Oh, here she is. Maggie Hatfield. Was she here?
She sure was.
And if Gus was the king, do you think that would have made her the queen of country? At least in this part of Kentucky. Oh. Look at her! Oh, she's so pretty. She is pretty.
For audiences in these parts, she was her own kind of royalty, that's for sure. From the very beginning. She was on the first show they ever did here. And that was at a time when not many women got any serious attention in country music. But Mr. Loomis was brave enough to not only use her every Saturday night, but he featured her. And a lot, too. Even considering she
Hold
was
on. You weren't about to say considering she was a woman, were you? Now, Patsy Cline, Loretta Lynn, Tammy Wynette, even Dolly Parton. Oh, girls like her, big time.
See, that's what I want to get across in what I write about. Hometown singers, getting the word out, even if it's just to a couple of hundred people.
Or maybe a few thousand on the radio.
It was women like Maggie Hatfield that started singing Our Battle Cry. Yes, Our Battle Cry. Long before the rest of us had the courage to pick up the banner. Performers like her deserve so much credit. And it says right here that she made her mark with those reply songs. Now, that is what they called them in the 40s and 50s. Replies to those guys with their loose women and honky-tonk heartbreak.
But to most people here at the Barndance, Maggie's tunes sounded like direct answers to what old Gus was singing in his lonesome cowboy songs. In point of fact, word had it Maggie and Gus may have...
Maggie, what are you going to sing for us tonight?
Well, you and the boys might not like this. And I'm doggone sure it ain't gonna set well with that handsome cowboy over there. But I've been thinking, I might have just the right comeback to some of those pitiful, sad songs all these menfolk are always crying in their beers about.
Yes, cowboy better treat us right. Now that's the ticket. That's what I call a great title. Cowboys better treat us right. Yes, we don't what you say. 'Cause we're sitting in a bar and thinking how to make you go boys to Chick-fil-A with a trusty wife goes on. Sing of treating hearts and shame when the folk is in their song. Is it a game? I think
Dance Show, proudly sponsored by Mum Deodorant and new Mum Mist. If you are one of the 2 in 5 people who perspire freely, try wonderful new Mum Mist with hexachlorophene, prevents odors all day.
Won't drip.
Don't run! Only 59 cents everywhere.
Hey, Spud, I almost forgot. Got no account stamp up there.
Here we go.
Told me he was so glad to see your pretty face every week and to be a part of the best dang show in Kentucky. And he wrote you something real special. You remember how he used to spend a lot of time a few years ago down in New Orleans, listening to that Cajun Zydeco music coming out of Louisiana? Well, here lately he got to thinking he'd have a go at it himself. I even let him talk me into doing it with him. So, Spud, old partner, this one's for you.
Blazing autumn day means let the good times roll. Within your cafe or lane, now you found a Cajun soul. In mud bunks and edge of fade, lanyard for bonus here. As the bayou jumps with Zydeco and Marty Gras draws near.
Good times roll, soft lives, no matter what the chance.
And the world can join these crazy folks in a lively Cajun dance.
Oh, it's a show.
Now I have all of this great background on Maggie Hatfield. You've given me 2 new friends.
It's sure worth checking out, and it is darn important. The folks here just wanted to make music in their own way and remain true to where it came from. Play and sing the way they wanted folks to hear it, not try to sell anything.
Doggone right. That's the only way to do it.
God, I love all this. I talk about it all the time. The guys down at the truck stop call me the local expert in Barndance doings.
And they love you for it, boy.
I gotta admit, I kinda like that. Oh, I do enjoy it.
It's like with most things, I guess. Just most people only knew about the Opry, but I do have to admit, I like learning about all these new voices. Theirs and yours, Mr. Expert Jenkins.
No, I'm not really an expert. But I think I kind of see it the way the Barndance folks did. Hitting it big in Nashville or Memphis, even Hollywood or New York are great goals.
Not for everybody.
But doing what you do for friends and family at a picnic or in a church basement, well, a little barn stage like this, all for the out-and-out love of it. That's what laid the groundwork for everything else.
People just as talented, but marching to a different drummer.
Did you hear that? I know it sounds crazy, but I keep thinking that I'm hearing something.
Oh, mean? I hear sounds like that all the time. Must be the air in the place.
Yeah, sure is.
Up till now, I've never met anybody who seems to have the same kind of honest affection about this kind of music the way that I do. Maybe it's just me, but I swear I think you do too. Oh, and another thing, it doesn't hurt that you're so easy to talk to. And so open to sharing new voices, old voices, different voices.
I like you too, Henry.
Oh, look at that, that's so sweet.
She always does this.
I should be the one thanking you for writing about the kind of stuff that all makes it worthwhile for the likes of me.
The likes of you. Now, what's that supposed to be?
I don't know you, but you're pretty. From that other music city. Timey rich with famous singers. Here we see newfangled pickers. Yet here you are, and now we wonder what crazy spell we're living under.
But long before the music starts, let's find those ballads in our hearts. That which brought you to. We've come here, yet no sound draws you. Those that play here linger too, a sound which draws me now to you. I have heard their silent singing, sharing what enchantments bringing. And here we are, and still we wonder what crazy spell we're living under. But long before the music starts, let's find those ballads in our hearts. That which brought you to our country music, old and new. That was really nice. Are you up for a little more inside information from your neighborhood expert?
That is why I'm here.
This is a very young Robert Gladstone Wesley. Now you had to have heard of him.
Rob Wesley, I sure have. And you're saying he sang here?
Sure did. Did over 50 shows here in a little over a year before he decided to get discovered and hitched out to Hollywood.
Big mistake. Good looking, super talented in a lot of ways, but not always too smart.
Before him, Maggie was the only one that went off anywhere risking her luck. Well, at least she spread her wings a little bit. The others never gave it a try. Somehow didn't seem to want to.
Now I can remember you could see Gus every day playing checkers, taking on all comers. Felt no need to go anywhere else. The old timer said he seemed contented enough. Maybe that's part of why Maggie came back so soon.
Locals were mighty happy when both of them hung around. But Gus always thought that the two of them had whatever it took to get someplace. I still think he did.
Spud even encouraged them to leave. Well, at least Maggie gave it some kind of a try, but she ended up coming back home too.
I gave it a try.
Proud of you.
Boy, my grandpa sure did love her. I remember how my grandma used to smack him upside the back of the head every time he'd go on a toot talking about how great and how pretty she was. That tiny little old lady do it. She hit him pretty doggone hard, too.
Well, she surely was pretty.
Yeah.
This picture shows her with her plain old acoustic guitar, dressed simple and down to earth. Now, your Maggie is exactly what my grandparents admired in the music and the way that young ladies ought to present themselves while on the stage. They thought anything new, the way you dressed, electric guitars, horns, drums, pretty much anything that wasn't back porch strings were tools of the devil for their country music that they loved and grew up with. And that passed down to my mom and dad. And they never really did take to Elvis or rockabilly or anything that wasn't old-timey.
I like Elvis in the movies, though.
Mr. Loomis was always willing to take his chance on new people, even locals with a dream. If you were a hillbilly music wannabe, you were always welcome here.
Come to Jubilee! Finding and presenting one new talent after another, and we did find some. We had our fair share of country pickers and singers come through who could hold their own with most anything.
I swear it's Mr. Loomis loved the most when someone brand new showed up out of nowhere. You guys remember? Sure do. Doggone right you do.
True rose snuff. Always mild and satisfying. And don't forget, you can save valuable coupons.
Country music needed places like this to find new blood, maybe try out new sounds that the bigger shows couldn't afford to rest.
Just give us proven artists with hit records under their belts.
And those shows were great. They were. I listened to them on the radio and bought those recordings like everybody else.
The grand old opera, Mother Church of country music.
But like Spud always said,
Much as we love our roots, innovate, doggone it! Somebody's got to try new things. Don't be afraid to take some chances on some of the little people. If you don't flat out love it enough to take some risks, and you're not having fun, why do?
It's easy to see how eager Mr. Loomis and the rest of the Barndance folk were about staying open to anything new and different. And you, my friend, still are. But I hear what you're saying. And I have long since been converted to tolerating or maybe even liking something brassier, drummy, or electric.
you better be careful. This place will do that to you. But it doesn't mean you can't hang on to your Music City favorites. You should. I sure do. I'm a certified hillbilly and proud of it. Those folks that watch the show every Saturday night always got their 60 cents worth.
Or whopping 30 cents if you were a kid.
That's right, Pete.
Whatever the dust in this place is doing to me, I'm thinking, standing right here, right now, that we're not so far apart. Even if Mom and Dad were here, well, who knows? Maybe I'm a little bit country.
Oh, I know. And I'm a little bit of rock and roll. I always like that tune. Good message, huh?
But still,
Oh, Lord, wouldn't it be wonderful if by the end of the show, those two young people ended up sweet on one another?
Now there you go again, being incurable romantic, just like you always are.
I can hear blues and gospel praise. Backwards bands and jelly play. Family groups and country. Something old will always be.
When the beat has made us enjoy that, Miss Stanton.
So did I, Mr. Jenkins. Now, I have been waiting patiently. Are you wanting to tell me about Rob Wesley?
I sure am. Now, Rob was just this kid that showed up one night who absolutely adored Elvis Presley and everything about him. Built his whole act on him. Now, he didn't want to be an impersonator like one of those Vegas guys.
At first, but I can vouch for the fact that he really wasn't much good at all. But he kept getting better and started growing on all of us. Pretty soon he had a sizable following.
More than that.
He was a real good-looking kid. And talk about enthusiasm. It wasn't long till all the high school girls from miles around would show up every Saturday night that he was here.
He really wowed those Bobbie sauces.
Local DJ named a country Bob Innes used to say, kid's got the moves, he's good looking, and he's got an even better voice than Mr. Blue Suede Shoes. Now, you told me a while ago you've heard of him, so you more than likely have heard some of his recordings.
Oh, I sure have. God, as much as I loved Elvis, I remember feeling almost unfaithful when I would listen to some of Rob Wesley's love songs. Oh, he was so handsome. And you're saying he started out here?
Sure did.
But before you folks out there get to hear about him, let's pause to stretch our legs and for station identification. This is Now Elvis had already pulled off something nearly impossible.
And here comes this kid on his very first night on anything even close to a professional stage, bound and determined to do the exact same thing.
It's about how he decided to dress for the occasion.
That kid, Rob Wesley, did exactly what we've been talking and singing about. He took the best of 3 or 4 pretty darn different worlds and, because he loved them all, turned it into, well, I guess the biggest thing that's ever happened around here, at least. What Elvis was doing in country and popular music everywhere.
That rockabilly sound.
Rob Wesley was doing it right here at the same time.
I always thought that kid had the makings of a better voice than Presley. Had more color, texture, I guess you'd call it.
I had some old Rob Wesley 45s up on my shelf, right next to Elvis, Fabian, Rick Nelson, all the heartthrobs of that time. Rob Wesley. Oh.
There was this one story Mr. Loomis never got tired of telling about young Rob's first night on the show. It was right after one of those big shot executive types had told him,
I'm sorry, son. I'm afraid you're a little far out for us. Maybe you ought to go back to washing cars.
Wesley was just a kid, claimed to be 18, but, well, we found out later, he probably wasn't even that.
His mom and dad had to come over here with him to sign his contract because he was still a minor.
Well, I'm waiting. Are you going to tell me the story about the introduction?
Oh, the way Mr.
Well,
Loomis...
doggone, Henry, it's the way I remember it. So I'll tell it that way. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big Jubilee welcome to a brand new face on our stage, Mr. Rob Wesley. Rob, how are you this evening?
Just fine, how are you, sir?
Mr. Loomis said he always called him sir, and that he was the most polite young man he'd ever met.
Are you all geared up with your
We're all
guys?
geared up.
Let us hear your music.
Well, I'd just like to say how happy we are to be here. It is a real honor to get to perform here in Jubilee, Kentucky. We're gonna do a song for you. Got anything else you want to say?
No, I think we're ready, young fella. You all ready?
We're ready. Boy, howdy, was he ever ready.
Gonna do a song for you. Got the promise of a single coming out next month. Hey, and it goes like this. Headed for the rail yard. I gotta leave this town for good. My love just up and left me, though she said she never would. My folks were right to tell me that gal's no good for you. So that is why I'm leaving. I can't help feeling blue. I miss you, Papa and Mama. I miss your love so true. But the moon that shines on Memphis shines on other places too. When I'm in the news, I find my heart was born. Just the tears my heart was born. Walking out that door. I'll miss you, Pop and Mama. I'll miss your love so true. But the moon that shines on Memphis shines on other places too. I'll miss you, Pop and Mama. I'll miss your love so true. But the moon that shines on Memphis shines on other places too.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, the youngster with the hillbilly blues beat. And if you think he sounds a little bit like Elvis, you ain't wrong. Don't Wesley rhyme with Presley? Now, right now, you might only know this kid as
The Buckhorn Flash.
Hillbilly cat.
The kid from River Bluff.
But let me tell you something. This is October 16th, 1954. And folks, I think you just might be seeing history right here tonight on this creaky old Kentucky stage, because I got a feeling this kid's going to be something really, really special. You're going to hear a lot more from Mr. Rob Wesley. Move over, Elvis.
Thank you very much.
Was it like Elvis, his moves, or his voice?
It had to be both of those. But more than that, I think he just genuinely loved the people he was singing for. Especially the ladies. And I'll tell you, the girls sure liked him.
All of a sudden, young girls in their dates were making up half the audience every Saturday night that Rob was on the bill.
They'd go crazy every Saturday night, practically mobbing, tear up things. Hysterical! Oh, kind of like with the Beatles later on. Once I read about a couple of dozen high school girls, Bobbie Soxers, you know, tearing up a car in the parking lot, trying to climb over it to get to Rob's dressing room. Oh, by the way, it was Mr. Loomis's car.
Rob, you're going to have to hold up a minute here.
Oh my gosh, Rob Wesley!
Is there something else you can do for us?
I love you, Rob!
I don't think this time I'm going to let you leave. Let me live unless you sing some more.
Secretly, Rob, serenade me!
Lord, if you can hear this plea, send my baby back to me. She's gone and words we didn't say are still tormenting me. Bring her back, bring her back. 'Cause no matter how I try, bring her back, or I swear I'm gonna cry. No, doggone it, fellas. I love this, but it just ain't getting it for me. I feel like rocking.
He's gonna rock!
Rocking like we're born to do. We're rocking, let it grab you too. He's rocking till you're black and blue. He's rocking till your dreams come true. Now my mama, she knows how to rock. My papa, he knows how to rock. My sister rocks like all the rest. If my babies rock, I love the best. Now we're rocking and it's clear to see. I need my baby back with me.
We're rocking. Send my baby back to me, sung by Mr. Rosen. I bet that baby of yours is on the way.
But why him? There had to be plenty of young guys trying to be the next Elvis.
I thought a lot about that. My grandpa said the young boy hung around the barn a lot, listening to old Gus and some of the other guys fiddling around with their music. Gus especially.
He had that same gospel influence that a lot of the country singers had then. That would have helped.
But you know what surprised everybody one time? Even Mr. Loomis, I'll bet. Was when young Rob said his favorite singer was Dean Martin. Crazy?
That boy was able to come up with a sort of tender, wounded, sometimes almost desolate sound.
But real romantic too.
And it was so new and so special that he wowed all his audiences, all ages.
One time I looked out there and I saw a little girl, her mother, and her grandmother, all three crying and milking it over young Rob.
It was like that night after night after night. You listen real close to how that boy sings, and I'll bet you'll hear a little Dean Martin and some old Gus sneaking in.
Mostly me. God, I love that kid. He was something else.
Of course, his gyrations didn't hurt. Oh, well, I guess he did a little better.
Whatever he was, one thing was for sure. The Wesley era had come to WVWK. I heard you tell her he did over 50 performances here. That's the truth. And that young boy was always totally loyal to his roots. And he knew where he came from. Never forgot who helped him. Yes, sir. Rob had to be, bar none, the biggest success story that ever came from here. That's for sure.
That's for darn sure. So now we have Maggie Hatfield, Gus Jackson, and Rob Wesley. That's quite the lineup, I have to admit. I had no idea.
But there were plenty more. Bo Hopkins, Patty Prentice, even crazy old Wally Davis when he wasn't gone fishing.
Yes, sir. Gus Jackson, Maggie, and even me, I reckon. Got it all started and kind of passed the torch on to kids like Rob. Wally, where you been off to this time?
Well, doggone it, Spud, I can't help it. They was a-biting. But I hear you talking about Gus and Maggie and Rob and all, and, well, I can't help but think that you really ought to be mentioning.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Wally. Henry, you forgot something, didn't you? You didn't mention who a lot of folks thought was the most talented country singer ever to work here. A cowboy that went totally unnoticed by most everybody outside of Jubilee. That fool guy accomplished so much and practically never got recognized for it at all.
That's the truth. I did almost forget. I know exactly who you mean. Wally Davis's old fishing buddy. And I think I know just what you want me to tell her about him.
This'll go great in her thesis.
There's this one more super talent that got his stuff together in this whole barn. He was like one of those cult figures, virtually unknown to most, but like a god to his fans.
They treated him like a mountain sage or guru or something.
Know who I mean? I'll give you a little hint. I did the crime, so I'll do the time. One more chance. Cool and blues.
I've heard those songs, sure, but those were hits from big name recording artists, not anyone from around here. Were they?
That's what I'm saying. The man who wrote those songs never got the credit for it. Never even tried to get it. A lot of big shots, slick agents, promoters, used him something awful. I stole from him sometimes. But, crazy as it sounds, he never fought back. No lawsuits or anything like that. Seemed he was just content to sit out back there and make music.
So you're telling me that Gus Jackson or someone from around here was writing all those hit songs?
Not Gus, but come to think of it, he was sort of like that too. No, it was this other guy we was just talking about, named Jordan Pryce. Came out of nowhere. Lived right out back there.
Spent most of his time just whittling and, well, singing to the squirrels and the trees, but all the time writing terrific tunes, mostly ballads. Jordan Pryce had this real old-time attitude when it came to performing music. He always said that the song had to come before the singer.
Hello, I'm Jordan Pryce.
Henry, now you really need to fill that little gal in about Jordan. Peculiar as he was and all, and he was surely that. I never saw anybody's music come up from nothing, from total obscurity to what his did. He was a force of nature. Oh, that's exactly what he was. And right from the start, he always dressed in those same old-fashioned black suits. When he performed, without fail, he opened things up with the same song. Did it all 18 years he was around.
I did the crime, so I'll do the time.
My calendars replace the clock. 10 weary years have plodded by, 10 more till my time's done. These prison walls are bleak and bare, they play dirges on my soul. Well, I'd like to fly away from here, Lady Justice took her toll. I did the crime, so I'll do the time. When I'm free, you won't see me ever near no prison wall. When I get free, I'll pack my gear, I'll go the way I choose. Show the world that God and I agree I've paid my dues.
Amen.
Till you get paid, there ain't no way to know what's real me. So listen hard, be on your guard, show how your future leads. I did the crime, so I'll do the time. When I'm free, you won't see me never near no prison wall. I did the crime, so I'll do the time. When I'm free, you won't see me ever near no prison wall.
Jordan Pryce. Did he really spend time in prison?
Who knows? They say he did spend time in the local jail on the weekends, drunk or getting into a local tough guys. But to this day, I don't think anybody can come up with 3 sentences about who the man was or what he did or didn't do. He was a total loner, a real man of mystery. That was old Jordan Pryce.
I did the crime. So I'll do the time.
Did you hear that? Well, you've done it again. You've given me another pretty amazing story. This is good stuff. I'll be writing for days. Jeez. Who would have thought?
I did the cry, so I'll do the cry. Jordan had a couple that were sort of like that, yeah. But the doggone man was such a loner. I guess, in a way, that's sort of like me. I like being by myself. Though I'm not really bad company.
You're great company.
I don't usually talk this much, except to the filling station gang, and, well, they think I'm a bit of a character, I suppose.
Jordan was a pure storyteller. Volunteer.
As nearly as Spud and my granddad could figure, Jordan did have a younger brother or son down south somewhere, because he wrote this one amazing song about a young soldier coming back from overseas after the war. Oh, just take a look at these words.
You know, I wrote that song one night around Christmas time, sitting in a bar over near Hopkinsville. I remember. Lyrics were coming at me about as fast as I could write. I reckon it just meant that much. 20 minutes, it was finished.
Spud told my grandpa that when Jordan first showed that song to him, he thought there had to be something real personal in it.
That's when they came up with the idea that it must have been about his son or brother. It just seemed that close to his heart.
Mr. Loomis said it looked like a man wanted to cry.
You remember that, my friend? I can't think of a better cue to ask you to do for us right now.
Makes no difference where I roam. Kentucky is my only home. So take me back to my Kentucky. With your love I've been so lucky. Tucked safely in my heart while I was gone. Dream dancing when we met, hoping you are waiting yet. Awaiting days when dreams and hopes are gone. So take me back, I love you so. As first we swore so long ago, I worked the field till duty called. Small-time boy with a soldier's heart. Our nation knew how to train a working man. When I reached the beach, I charged forward in the sand. Now the medal's here, and the scars are too. By this small-time boy, reaching back to you. Take me back to my Kentucky. With your love I've been so lucky. Rest safely in my heart for I was gone. When the sun is shining bright and the corn is harvest high, let me be a drop of love for you.
It's more than just coming up with words.
A song like that had to have been about somebody he cared about big time, don't you think?
It sure sounds like it to me. And that's exactly what I've got to capture and what I write about. What a beautiful song. And the message coming back to those that you love. Now that hits close to home for everybody. So, now we have Gus, Maggie, young rock Wesley. And you've added a real eccentric character to my list of new friends. But I don't care if he was a little peculiar. Jordan Pryce is now officially added to my lineup.
And here we stand, right on the very spot where it happened.
I have to thank you, Henry. No wonder I'm beginning to feel like I actually know these folks. I feel them to be clear now. Moving to see them. What has happened? My heart's a flutter. Is it you or spirit singing? While I come here, did you know here something special would occur?
Inside of music, heart starts musing. Have we found here something more?
For hearts are all a-beating, all as one and each alone. There's a bass and one is singing, swinging hips and love forlorn. We think we know these voices,
For we hear them all inside.
Hearts are full of feeling, being picked up, held, and lost.
this is music that we know now, fills this hall with special longing.
Love of music,
Love of family.
Oh, well,
Let's just get back to dance now, we could think of more. Listen to my song. Let's dance now, hold my hand now, music lives forevermore. For hearts are all a-beating, all as one and each alone. There's a race and one is singing, swinging hips and love forlorn. We think we know these voices, for we hear them all inside. Hearts that tremble full of feeling, being picked up, held, and loved.
Now, I said earlier that I thought the dust in this place was doing something to me. Well, I have to confess, it's more than that. And I'm sure you're in on it, whatever it is.
I still think it's hoodoo.
Oh, it's like our song said, I can feel spirits, really friendly spirits of the old Jubilee Barndance regulars and wannabes hovering all around this place. No, I mean it. It's like right now, this second, I feel them like it's tickling on the back of my neck.
and by any chance, is there anyone here from the state of Tennessee? Maybe Nashville?
All these people get here. Hi, Ellie.
Welcome to the Jubilee Kentucky Barndance Show, little lady.
Good hoodoo.
They've been here the whole time, Ellie, and I only just saw myself a little before you arrived, but I knew they'd always been here. And if you can see them too, well, I'm certain now they always will be. And that's because you're going to be the one that writes about them and tells a whole lot of people what went on here.
You know I will.
In fact, I bet because of you and Spud over there and the gang, and I suppose me too. This audience sitting right here, right now, has been seeing them too. How about it? Can you see them?
Pattern, pattern, organ songs were better, pattern, Bobbie.
signing off for now. But like my new pal Henry, and my even newer pal, the little lady that's going to keep you from forgetting us, Miss Ellie, have been reminding us we're around. All of us will always be around. This ride we took just keeps on chugging along in new ways to new places. And we've all just shared one of them. So thanks for joining us and celebrating here in my favorite old barn in Kentucky on the Jubilee Barndance show. Let's do it again. All of us. Good night, everybody!